Well, hello and welcome back to our Sea Barn. Seeing if anybody else is coming in here or not. Hey, Tom, how you doing? All right, well, let's get started on this. So, anyways, last time we left off here, we had gotten the rear structure here all finished up for the most part. We went ahead and made our elevator rudders and stuff, and kind of got that stuff squared away. We got a little bit more work to do back there. If anybody remembers, we have some interference problems with our rudder, so we're going to put. Yeah, I hear you. It's cold and crappy out today, and yeah. Um, Anyways, we're going to uh, put some 45s in the elevator, so that way we can get some rudder flow out of this thing. Oh, move this out of the way. Give me some room here. Yeah. To be honest, today almost didn't happen. So let's start at like a 45. Okay. And I'm going to give it a little bit of room um, at the corner here for the rudder to swing. So I'm going to just shorten the elevator up by a little bit here. Okay. Something like that. See if my tape will re-stick here. Yeah. Okay, so we got good throw here, but obviously not here because it's interfering with the leading edge here. Let's try this. Oh, that's why. Okay, because it's not that, it's the fade. Let's hinge. So, anyways, Tom's suggestion was to find some sandpaper here. Yep, it's over here, I think. Huh. Yeah, okay, so where's my... Oh, here we go. This will work. Yeah, exactly. So anyways, Tom's suggestion was to kind of round these out. So we'll do that just to clean the edges up. Sort of like that. Yeah, it never seems to fail that if you need something, you're going to lose it. Okay. And something like that. I think that looks fine. We're going to take this whole assembly apart here. And since we already got the elevator apart, we'll go ahead and start with that. Okay. So for hinging, I'm going to go ahead and use Dubro pin hinges. Now, if we were using thinner material here, we would go ahead and use CA hinges in there, just because the requirement for balsa thickness here. And I'm going to get these installed, but I am not going to glue them yet. And then we got our handy dandy kit here for Dubro to get them installed. Let me get you down here a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. And I have it here somewhere. There it is. I like to use these Carl Goldberg centering guides for centering it. They came in every Goldberg kit on demand. It just puts a line in the balsa wood so you can make sure you get things in the center. If you don't have one of these, I would imagine that you could get one off a 3D print or something like that, or yeah. Dubro sends this guy. I know you can't hardly see it. And it comes with different widths for the different size hinges that they sell. This is small and large, and then they also got one in here for pin style hinges. And you could use this to, I'll demonstrate here. I'm not going to use it obviously, but you kind of put it in there like that, and that'll help center your hinge up. But anyways, the tools here, you can see where they got 3 of these fork guys here, and then the picker. This is for large, medium, and small hinge, and then the picker is to get the balsa wood out. We're using the medium-sized hinges, so we'll grab the medium-sized tool here. On the elevator, we're going to put 3 elevator hinges across there. Yeah, we'll put one in the center. Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to pull each one out here on the end, kind of in a little bit. I just kind of eyeball these guys. As long as you got, got some meat around the hinge to glue it in or pin it in, like I like to do. And then I'm just going to set my tool here over my center line here. If I was using the tool, I would use the correct corresponding and then shove it in. Sometimes a little wiggle helps. Make sure you're somewhat flat, especially if you don't have a lot of meat like we have here, to skew it one way or the other. And then you just kind of squeeze her in there. Like I said, making sure that you are not doing a blowout like it looks like I'm getting ready to do. Watch your fingers, because if you do poke through, you do not want this going through your finger. It's extremely sharp. You shove it in like that. And then you bring it back out. And then you grab your pick here. I don't know why the lighting's so bad today. And then anyways, what I do is I just kind of go in there at an angle like this. And then scoop out what you can. You can see how it's coming out of there. A couple of times never hurts. And then your hinge goes right in. Yeah, exactly. So we'll get one here in the center. And you can see how when I started that, it kind of started at a bit of an angle. So, wonder where everybody's at today. Maybe I should have taken a break today. Oh, here we go. But yeah, it's just, there we go. That's a nice chunk. Pretty easy to hinge these Dubro hinges. Okay, now what I do when I go to the second side here, you got to make sure that you're doing the right end here. First and foremost, I want to try to center this up as much as I can. And then what I do is I grab a pencil and mark each side of the hinge. You can fine tune this when you go to install them. And I'll transfer the marks down here so I can. And it doesn't matter a whole lot if you're 100% accurate. You can always make the slots longer if you need to move things around a little bit. And we'll make sure we're straight and true here. It really doesn't take a lot of pressure to get those in there. And once I got it in there, you can of course make it wider with this thing just by doing something along those lines. Like I said, if you need to, you can make them wider. And for demonstration purposes, I'll show you this guy here. So we'll go ahead and get this centered in now. What I'm doing here is you can see my lines there, and I'm just lining up this back part here where it's radiused at with my lines, and that will get me real close to being where I need to be at. You can kind of see the lines between the gaps here. Again, make sure you're kind of straight. And then what I do is I kind of get it going and I pull it back out, and it marks the center if you didn't have a center. And then finish it up. Okay. There we go. Now we're obviously not going to have that much throw. Well, we kind of do. But at this juncture, we're going to want to round over the trailing edge. I kind of use my hinge and my center line for a guide to make sure we're putting the radius in the right spot. That don't look too bad. That works really nice. Way more throw than we need. Okay, let's move on to the rudders. These guys, I'm only going to put 2 in each. Yeah. Another trick I'll do sometimes is I'll mark like my positions, like put one on the top and one on the bottom. When I mark the center, I'll put the V there in the center, kind of sort of. Doesn't really make a huge difference here. Now this rudder is getting on the verge of being too thin to use Dubro hinges, but there's just enough meat in there. Now when we put these in, I will probably glue these because there's just not a lot of meat there. Actually feels like I'm going to split it. Yeah, might have to move this one. Oh. Yeah, see, we're getting on the verge of being too thin there. Okay, let's fix that. I blew it out. I got off to one side there. I think let's try it one more time. Otherwise, I'm going to have to repair the rotor here, and then we will go with CA hinges. Got the first one in there. Probably pushing too hard. There we go. Yeah. Gotta make sure you glue the finger. I glued my wedding ring onto my finger last week. Okay. Success. There we go. If you are just now joining us, we are hinging the elevator and rudders. This way. Yeah. Now, what makes these tools more handy than X-Acto knife is everybody knows these Dubro flat pin hinges are thicker than CA hinges. So these tools got a little bit more girth to them to be able to hog out a little bit more material. You can get away doing it with an X-Acto knife, but it is very frustrating, and these tools make it way easier. There again, we'll I gotta sand that 1/4 inch spruce down. And then I think on this one we'll radius the rudder instead of the elevator just because of that piece of spruce that's down there. I'm gonna make it a little easier to sand. That's better. Okay. Yeah, that's plenty to throw. Yeah. Yeah, might as well finish up the left one here. I think it just is a preference to me. If you're looking for a lot of throw, Tom here is asking about rounding stabilizers over control surfaces, whether it makes a big difference. I really don't think it does for me make a big difference as to one side or the other, because all you're doing is creating more room for movement in there. If you're really particular about your throw, and you want a lot of it, I've put tri-stock on the leading edge here on both edges, just so I get that nice point there, and that becomes my hinge line. Makes for some really good, like on a highly aerobatic plane with big control surfaces. So in all reality, I think it is just a personal preference sort of deal. This balsa is extremely soft in this rudder, and it's tearing it more than it's cutting it. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's kind of ugly. But you're getting away with it. Oh, and we'll line up a rudder here. course, the rudder side of it. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too. It was kind of weird, how we had so many people last weekend and this weekend we don't. I mean, somebody just joined. How you doing today? And maybe people are just busy. I don't know. Maybe the project is getting boring. I don't see how that would happen, but it is coming to it is closing in on being done though for some strange reason. I was just I was going through the old live streams today, and I'm like, we're at episode 10 already. I mean, that means that at an hour apiece, and give or take that, maybe 4 or 5 extra hours. Yeah. We're like 15 hours into this project right now, into a Sig Wonder twin. So even though the kit is no longer available, I showed you guys in the first episode where you could get the plans at for this. And so, if you had, 2 8-hour days, on a Saturday and Sunday, you'd be where we're at right now. Yeah, I appreciate that. And, yeah. Okay, I'm not going to try to pronounce your screen name, but yeah, and I appreciate all the views that I get after the fact. Last weekend, for instance, when we quit the live stream, we were at 15 views through the live stream, and then by I think Tuesday or Wednesday, we were up to like 60. So people are definitely following along with the build, just not during live stream, which is okay, and that's some of the general YouTubers that I watch. That's what they say happens. So, we're definitely gaining some momentum here for sure, which I appreciate all the viewers. I really do. And it doesn't matter to me. It's a lot of fun to have people here for the live stream and to interact with on a live basis. But yeah. So yeah, I appreciate you catching the live stream. That's cool. So there's our other hinge there. We got a little bit of a weirdness going on here. I think I'm going to have to. Yeah, that should be plenty of throw. I mean, that's what, 1.5 inches or so right there. Yeah, that's plenty. Okay. So now that this is, so in theory, now I could glue all this together and make it permanent, but why should I? I can do the covering and all that with it apart. It'll make it a ton easier. But in all reality, the rudders and the elevator stabilizer assortment is finished. I got some fine tuning to do. I got to sand on the those stiffener points down there. Yeah, I think that's going to be. I think we're going to need like maybe a 3/4 of an inch. Will probably be a good starting point for rudder throws. Rudder's not super important. You know, you can play around with that later. So now the whole thing here is we can measure for our ailerons, which I've already picked some stock out. So I'm going to make sure that this is the 1/2 inch gap that I wanted. So I'm more worried about it longitudinally this way than whether it's straight, which it should be. Good. Easy. Push over a little bit there. Yeah, that's pretty close right there. So we'll make sure that our rudders are sitting here flat. And then we're going to mark the end of this so we can run a aileron right up to it with a little bit of a gap here. So we can go like 1/4 inch off, and that'll give us room for covering and stuff. (15 3/4). 15 3/4. Okay, so we need 2 ailerons, 15 3/4 inches long. That's a good sign that they came out even. One side wasn't longer than the other. So I got some of this pre-made trailing edge stock, aileron stock. This is 1 3/4 inch wide. Should be more than enough for what we're doing. It's actually probably a little too wide, but the next size down that I have is 3/4 inch. So it's always easier to reduce throws than to increase them. And we'll start small with the throws and set dual rates up and stuff like that. So that way our first flight isn't as scary as I think it's going to be. 15 3/4, not 15 1/4. Okay. And then we'll make identical lengths here. So if we're off a little bit, at least they'll be the same. Okay, we're just a little off there on one side or the other, so I'll sand them up and crew them up here. Do have a little bit of a radius in there. It isn't going to make that big of a difference. We'll just do that, and it'll go towards the center. Make it look like we didn't make a mistake there. Now, the only problem with these is that they ain't thick enough. We'll give you a look-see here. So we're gonna have to add some thickness to it, so that way the thickness comes out. And I've already pre-measured it, and we need another 3/16 of an inch. Look, the sun finally came out, even though it's like 0 degrees outside. So I got a piece of 3/16 here, and when you're thickening these guys up, it does make a difference where the sheet goes. So if you see there, it keeps this line pretty straight. But if we put it on the other side, get it lined up here, you can see it kind of goes up and then back. So it does definitely make a difference what size, yeah. Make a difference what side the trailing edge goes on because of all the angles involved. So and then what I'm doing here, I know you can't, that dang sun, I tell you. I don't know if that's driving you guys nuts, but it makes the video look like crap. I just marked out my outline here, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. That'll be good enough there. Make sure everything's kind of square here, so kind of limit how much sanding we're going to have to do here. Let's piece of wood. There we go. Then, like anything else, when you're making these longitudinal cuts like this with the grain, start slow. And I'm barely putting any pressure on my knife here, cutting it with the grain. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of scoring it to get that first cut started. And then you can put, after you get the first one done, you can put just a little bit more pressure down. And then again, as you get deeper, the knife will follow that trail for it with you. Done. And now we got an angle in there, and we thickened it up. Now, if you wanted to, and we'll turn this off a little bit more. If you wanted to thin the trailing edge up, you could. This is a nice strong piece. We could actually put some lightning holes in here if you wanted to. I'm not going to. I don't think we really need to. And lift you up. That definitely looks the part now. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And then we'll go ahead and rinse and repeat on the left airline. Make sure we're going it up right. Okay. If you are just joining us, I see we got some more people in here. Maybe we'll go a little longer today. Working on building the ailerons. Right now, we're thickening them up after cutting the aileron stock to length. We've also got the rudder and elevator assembly hinged. So for the most part, that is completely finished. Okay. Okay, there we go. Little bit of sand in here on the end. Yeah, it is. It's I bought, this is some of the last of the balsa wood that, I don't know if you guys remember Carolina Custom Kits or not. I haven't really heard a lot from him the last few years. But that's the last little bit of balsa wood that I bought from him when he had Boss Balsa. And that stuff was junk. It was heavy. It was hard. And I've been slowly getting rid of it through little stuff like this, because like a piece of 3/16 like that, you wouldn't want to make a complicated fuse side out of it, or sheeting or anything like that, because it's heavy, and you know you're going to add a lot of weight behind the CG if you're like sheeting a wing or the fuselage. It's taken me almost 4 years to get through all that, but yeah, that was a pretty big fiasco in the kit building world with him. Okay, there's our left. Now, it's never a bad idea once you get a left and a right made to go ahead and mark them. So we'll mark that left. Mark that right. And then we are going to go ahead and get this guy hinged up. Whatever Tom, quit hiding my tools, would you? There it is. And this has got just enough reach to get a center line on here. There we go. I can't see my line because I got the second line in there with the where the balsa wood lands. I know you can't hardly see it, but it's just like right there off of the edge. It's kind of making it hard to see what line to follow. So after you use that tool, you can run a pencil down the center of it and highlight it. Another trick for you. And this guy we don't have to worry about jumping, digging through or popping through it. So I'm just going to go to town here. We're going to put 4 hinges in the airline because of how big they are. And we got them. But we need to determine where in the center we're going to put them. I'll show you why here in a second. Oh, hey Frez, how you doing? Kind of getting a slow start here today with guys. No, it's not. Oh, it did a little bit right there. Huh. I didn't think I had to worry that too much about that. If you do break free, don't worry too much about it. It'll be just fine. You don't have to. Oh, I screwed up my piece. No. Okay. So we got that guy in, and we got that guy in, and we know we're going to be good for ribs here in the tips, because at least we should be. Yeah. So what we want to do, make sure we get this on the right side. We're going to be about there. We want to avoid the servo bay, even though this would kind of make sense to put one every other, but we have an odd mount. So we're going to go on the side of caution here and go next to the rib on this one, and then we will go next to the rib on this one, just so we have some kind of equal spacing here. We're not going to run into wherever our control horn is going to land, and we're avoiding the ribs. So again, we're going to go on the left side of this one. Okay. Yep. We got that one, and then we'll go to the left side of this one here too. I guess I could point my camera toward where I'm working at here. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and transfer our hinges over to the other side. Okay. And then just same thing as before, rinse and repeat. We're going to go ahead and mark our center line here with my Carl Goldberg tool here. And then we'll highlight it. Okay. Like so. These are going to be super easy since we got just a stick going through there. If you have the one word of caution I will use when you're building your airplane, if you decide that, if your trailing edge is like a 1/4 inch thick and doesn't have enough meat to be able to get a hinge in there and get some good gluing surface, you want to cover, I would say, at least 90% of the hinge with wood. Like on these, you'd want to go, at least to the holes. So we're going to get that in here just because of that extra piece, that white piece I added in there for the trailing edge. But if you don't have that, you can go in while you're building your wing before you sheet it and add blocks with where the hinge points are going to be at. Because you would have to do that for, hinge points and these plastic hinge pins. You would want extra meat there for the glue to grab a hold of. So that's where it pays to kind of think ahead a little bit while you're building. And if we didn't do that and we couldn't decide what hinges we were going to use, we could definitely get blocks in here and glue them in after it was built too. Just a little bit more of a pain to get them in and out. If you're doing claw style, CA style hinges, not as important to have the blocks back there. You can put a cloth hinge, if I can talk, into a piece of 1/4 inch balsa wood and have it last for many, many years doing it that way. Start at one end, kind of get them feeded in. I'm not going to radius it at this point. It's going to be easier to work on it with it being straight. There. I need to get a drink here. Oh, yeah, one exactly. Then we'll almost be done. Hey, look at the bright side. At least this ain't a biplane with 4 airlines on. Okay. Come on. All right. So we can do the same as we did the last time. We can err on, like, instead of putting it in the center of the rib, I'm going to put it off to the side just so that way there's more of a distance here and it's doing more, in my opinion. And then on this side, we went this way here, and we'll kind of go right there. That way it's got, they're equally spaced out. I don't know if it matters a whole lot. It's just the way I do it. So we'll go that way. That way. Okay. Now these things do wear out. The rivets get loose. I don't remember that they were super expensive when I bought them, like $15 or something like that, if I remember right. I got them at Toledo. Great place to get them at. Okay. And I got, look at that, 2 more hinges, and that's it. I'll use the whole bag of 15 hinges. Normally, you would have some left over, and you could save them behind, and they sell them in 15 packs, and I think 6. So, very close. Must have not, yeah, sanded on that leading edge as much as it did the other side because it barely fit. There we go. We still got a lot of sanding to do on this. I will probably spare you the boring details of final sanding and stuff like that, but yeah. Not going to get a lot of balsa wood out of the wing since it's open structure. You get more out of when they're solid. So there we go. Starting to look, definitely look more airplane-ish. Well, let's get a final visual on her with the control surfaces all done up. Not going to make it as far as I wanted to this week, but that is okay. All right. We got our gap here because, I mean, covering. I'm going to cover this in coverall, paint it and stuff. It's going to get thicker here, so we don't want any interference here with our ailerons. Obviously, I got to radius these, and I'll probably go ahead and do both on the ailerons just for aesthetics reasons. And then, yeah. Boy, that took a little bit more time than I thought it would. So, anyways, I should probably cut this one off here, seeing as Annabelle's turning 14 today, and we're going to go get some ice cream and stuff here in a little bit. But anyways, where we're at on this, the construction's almost, as you can tell, is really starting to take shape and get finished up. We have hatches to make and mounts for those. I was hoping to get into that this video, but that's not going to happen. So, we got to make plywood mounts for the bottom hatches for them to screw into. We got to add plywood structure to the fuselage for the removable stabilizer rudder assembly. So that's probably what's going to happen next weekend. We'll get all that stuff kind of glued up, and then of course wingtips, and then after that, final assembly is going to be, or building is going to be pretty much wrapped up. I am going to get this thing as prepped as I possibly can. I got servos coming. I ordered a couple of mini high-tech servos for the ailerons. We're going to use standards for elevator rudder throttles, and at least that's the plan right now. And then I went ahead and picked out some 6-ounce fuel tanks for it. These are the flexible kind. They do fit in there, so I'm happy about that. I will do that, Tom. And then, yeah, so anyways, what's going to happen with this is we're probably going to be 2 or 3 more episodes on it, just to kind of get all that fine-tuned. And then off camera, I am going to go ahead and tear this thing apart and get it covered and coveralled. Covering with coverall is a very time-consuming process. I have been back here working on the cauldron for a couple of weeks now, starting on the final assembly on it and getting things covered. And that has been, it's a long process. And it would take me 6 months to do an hour a week. So what I'm going to do is once this thing gets to that point, it's going to go off camera, I'm going to go ahead and do finish, and then during the lives, I will do an update every week on to where I'm at with it. And then at the last, once all that's done, we'll bring it back. We'll do final assembly on it and get it ready to fly. Of course, we got to make a dolly for it yet too. So that'll probably be its own separate video, dolly design, and um, yeah. So, anyways, after this is done, we're gonna get started on the something extra. So, if you are interested in doing the bill along, it's not a requirement. You can still join us for the live stream, and maybe you'll pick some stuff up. But the something extra build along is going to commence. If you guys are interested, I am doing some research right now on engine choices and stuff for it. I'm going electric. Not sure if I'm going to use Innovative Designs or not. Kind of leaning towards that way. Already did a little bit of research on ESC and battery size if you're going nitro, which is, this isn't an electric page, so it doesn't matter to me what you go with. So I'm going electric because I'm planning on making this into a night flyer. But so you might want to be thinking about getting, if you want to do the bill along, get a kit, get some servos coming. You can build this thing. If you've never built something extra, I would highly recommend it. It's a fun airplane to fly, and it's quick to assemble at the field. So it's a really kind of a go-to with the 40 size community. You can get kits right now. You really don't need to upgrade anything. You need 6 standard servos, a Y harness, radio system, of course, and the favorite engine of choice for that is an OS46AX. So, anyways, if you're thinking about doing that or going to go ahead, I'm just giving you kind of a heads up. We're probably about 3 to 4 weeks out on that, and you know, basically the build is going to go. We're just going to open the book up and we're going to start building this thing. I'm going to show you little tips along the way, maybe some structural changes or changes that you can make if you wish to, and it should be fun. And we should be. I would say we're probably going to be 2 months, 2.5 months to building that thing. So if we start at the end of February, then say we start at March and April, you should be ready to test fly your plane by May. And that means you could bring your something extra newly built kit that you did on the RC barn to the National Fun Flying Muncie. The end of June, 28th and 29th. I got it on my post, so go check that out. And anyways, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight, and we will see you next Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and hope to see you here. Thanks for watching, guys.